Hey guys, today I'm thinking about doing a new series for just like searching up doing a new series for just like searching up random things on Wikipedia and seeing where we go from there. I like to deep dive, so this is definitely going to be fun for me. So today I feel pretty proud of myself. I was able to make an omelet successfully without turning it into ugly scrambled eggs. So let's go from there. Let's see what we can deep dive from eggs. All right. Yeah, okay. All right, so eggs. An egg is an organic vessel grown by animal to carry a possibly fertilized egg cell. For people, eggs are a popular food, like me this morning, getting my omelet, and they appear on menus worldwide. Eggs remain an important symbol in folklore and mythology, symbolizing life, healing, and rebirth. They are frequently the subject of decoration. This is true. Egg collecting has been popular in some cultures, although the practice is now banned in many jurisdictions. What's that about? Egg collecting. Wait a minute, hold on. I didn't know there was regulations on egg collecting. Egg collecting has been popular in some countries, although the practice has now been banned in many jurisdictions. Let's look a little bit closer to that. Oology. imagine imagine you go to like a party, like a house party, and you're getting to know people and they ask you what you do for a living and you say that you're an oologist. Oology is a branch of ornithology studying bird eggs, nests, and breeding behavior. The word is derived from the Greek oion, meaning egg. Oology can also refer to the hobby of collecting wild birds, eggs, sometimes called egg collecting, bird nesting, or egging. Oh, egging. I know that some people like to egg me on. I'm gonna cut that one out. Which is now illegal in many jurisdictions. Yeah, it was. Okay, interesting. Okay, sometimes called egg collecting, bird nesting, or egging, which is now illegal in many jurisdictions. What does that mean? Let's get into the hobby part. Egg collecting was still popular in the early 20th century, even as its scientific value became less prominent. Egg collectors built large collections and traded with one another. Frequently, collectors would go to extreme lengths to obtain eggs of rare birds. For example, Charles Bendire was willing to have his teeth broken to remove a rare egg that became stuck in his mouth. What the hell? He had placed the egg in his mouth while climbing down a tree. In 1922, British Oological Association was founded by Baron Rothschild, a prominent naturalist, and Reverend Francis Jourdain. The group was renamed the Jourdain Society after Jourdain's death in 1940. This is so interesting. I didn't realize that the lore of egg collecting goes back so far, and it's like there's a whole society for it. What? Interesting. There's so much to unpack here. Where do I even click? Let's see. I really want to know more about Charles Bendire. Oh my goodness, that's what he looks like. He has an egg broken in his mouth. He broke a tooth from that. Bender was homeschooled until the age of 12, after which he attended 5 years of theological school at Passy near Paris. But let's look more onto the ornithology. He initially sent letters containing his observations to other American naturalists such as Joel Allen and more people. He would publish them in American naturalist magazines like the Bulletin of the Newtown Ornithological Club and the American Naturalist. However, in 1877, he began to push articles under his own name. A private collection of 8,000 eggs formed the basis of the egg collection at the Smithsonian Institution, then known as the U.S. National Museum in Washington, D.C. He made new discoveries about the migration habits of various birds and discovered several new species, including the Bendire's thrasher, Taxostoma bendire. On 1972, while patrolling in central Arizona, so he got around. Bendire reportedly snatched a zone-tailed hawk's egg from a nest for his collection while under fire from an Apache scout and secured it safely in his mouth until he could return to camp. This is the kind of lore that your dad just randomly tells you on a Tuesday morning when you're getting ready for school. That is so crazy. It was alleged that he broke a tooth in his mouth while attempting to remove the egg due to its large size. A zone-tailed hawk's egg. Zone-tailed hawk's egg. It is about 1.5 to 1.9 inches width. I mean, that doesn't seem too big. Maybe, like, how did he break his tooth exactly? Like, it's not big. It says... Okay, so it's alleged that he broke a tooth in his mouth while attempting to remove the egg due to its large size. I don't know. It doesn't seem like that, like, big enough to grant breaking a tooth over. Who knows? He also published an early description of Lost River sucker, now known as, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, in the journal Forest and Stream while he was stationed at Fort Klamath in South Central Oregon. Bright's disease. That's so interesting. Oology is a very serious hobby. You can lose teeth over it. Methods when collecting eggs. Normally the whole clutch of eggs is taken because eggs will rot if the contents are left inside. They must be blown to remove the contents. Although collectors will take eggs at all stages of incubation, freshly laid eggs are much easier to blow, usually through a small, inconspicuous hole drilled in specialized drill through the side of the eggshell. Egg blowing is also done with domestic bird eggs for the hobby of egg decorating. You know, I always grew up dyeing eggs or painting eggs, but I knew people would collect eggs. I just didn't realize it was so serious. So let's get into that. Let's get into that. Egg decorating. What do people do with these eggshells? Egg decorating is the art of a craft of decorating eggs. It has been a popular art form throughout history because of the attractive, smooth, and oval shape of the egg and the ancient associations with eggs as a religious and cultural symbol. Egg decorating has been associated with Christian celebration of Easter in recent times, but was practiced independently by many ancient cultures. Eggs are an important symbol in folklore and mythology, often representing life and rebirth, healing and protection, and sometimes featuring a creation myths. This means that traditional egg decorating existed throughout the world, such as Africa, Australia, Eurasia. Ooh, Eurasia has some pretty cool looking eggs. They take their eggs very seriously in Eurasia. A Carthaginian decorated egg from the Iron Age. Wow. And there's a lot of lore in the Eurasian section. Red eggs feature in Greek Easter celebrations where people play games which involve tapping the red eggs against each other. Okay, this part's really interesting just because I have a friend that's half Russian and is Orthodox. So I'm particularly interested in this section. The renowned Russian court artist and jeweler Peter Karl Fabergé, I probably mispronounced that, made exquisitely decorated precious metal and gemstone eggs for the Romanovs. These eggs resembled standard decorated eggs, but they were... Okay, what makes these special? Let me look at this. Wow. Man, that really is a step up from these. You see these, okay, yeah, I can see how somebody could take that a hobby. No, the Russians, they took it to a whole nother level, man. Like, look at this. That is crazy. It's a jeweled egg first created by the jewelry firm House of in St. Petersburg, Russia. As many as 69 eggs were created during the Tsarist era, of which 61 are known to have survived. Virtually all the original first edition eggs were manufactured. Okay, that's really cool. I kind of want to go back to that, but let's continue a little bit longer on this page. Gold and precious stones. Many Turkic peoples also maintain closely related traditions of egg dyeing associated with the coming of spring and Persian New Year. That's really cool. Let's dive into that. Man, can you imagine how much does one Fabergé egg cost? Jeez. Oh my gosh. 30 million at auction. Wow. That is crazy. So they were given as Easter gifts for Alexander's wife and Nicholas's mother, Empress Maria Fyodorovna, and Nicholas's wife, Tsaritsa Alexandria Fyodorovna, which was the last empress of Russia as the consort of Nicholas II from their marriage. Okay, interesting. This is so interesting. They had that drip too. Do you see that? Look at that drip. That is, like, whenever I think of princesses and like fantasy, like attire for royalty, this is the kind of thing that I think of. Is this dress right here? They had the drip. Russians had the drip. One egg, known as Karelian birch egg, has sketches but is not confirmed to have actually been made. And the other, the blue Suvorich constellation egg, was only partially completed due to the Russian Revolution in 1972. Yeah, that did kind of put a damper in things, didn't it? Yeah. This is so cool. This is making me want to go not only make omelets with eggs I have in my house that are like 10 cents, like, well, not nowadays. Eggs are pretty expensive nowadays, but not as expensive as these eggs. I need to figure out where these are in a museum because this is interesting. But yeah, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for sitting here and watching me crack this open. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I knew first we saw that a guy was so involved in his hobby that he broke a tooth running from an Apache scout collecting hawk eggs to just finding out that Russia is very hardcore about their egg decorating game. That is crazy. Anyway, thank you again for spending time with me, being so bored that you just wanted to listen about the history of Oology. This has been interesting. I've definitely learned a few things today.